universe.
Make your day richer than it was before. Got some good times knocking upon your front door.
Well, hello everyone to the second episode of Make Your Day Richer with Richard Wilmore. Yesterday was our big premiere and it was not live, but today we're live. So we thank you all for watching yesterday and sharing it and liking it and all the fun stuff that you all did. I appreciate it. It's a really fun show. I was traveling back from Wisconsin, and we'll talk about that later, which is why yesterday was taped. But today is live and I'm here with Ashley and Becky. Hi.
Hi.
I'm going to look this way and pretend that I'm looking at you. See how we do this? It's TV magic.
This way.
You can look that way too. Yeah, it'll be great. It'll be
the
fun.
opposite of where you are.
Yes. Yes. It's. We should have done an acting exercise before this to actually figure out how to do this. But you two have had quite a year, and it seemingly have turned it into something that's positive. And so I wanted to bring you on and talk about that and talk about did you two know each other? Are you related? Like, how did this all come about, that you're here now where you're at?
Yeah, we definitely did not know each other prior. We are from the same town of about 30,000 people. We have tons of mutual friends and are around the same age, but had never actually met each other. It wasn't until someone that she knew that I went to high school with had reached out after she was diagnosed, because I had been diagnosed a couple of weeks earlier, and he had said, I don't know what to do. Please, tell me how I can help her. And so I took it as, hey, I should be friends with this girl. She has cancer. I have cancer. Let's be friends.
Why not?
And we bonded.
Wow. And that was a year ago.
Yeah,
a little over a year.
Yeah, I was February 1st diagnosis. And
my journey started February 15th, but I wasn't diagnosed until March 14th.
What do you have the same type of cancer, or do you have different?
No, so I had stage 3 breast cancer,
and I had stage 4 neuroendocrine cancer in my appendix.
Where are you both from? Because I heard a very Canadian / Midwestern oat at some point.
Well, yes, we are from Alberta, Canada.
Okay. It seemed I'm from northern Wisconsin, and I just got back, and so everyone talks like you. So I was like, or are we neighbors? Like, maybe we know
Not
each other.
so close, but
we sound the same. And so what has this last year been? I mean, you're in your 30s, which is so young to get something like this and have these diagnoses. Like, how has life changed, and what was that like to hear those words?
It was crazy.
Yeah, it was devastating.
Yeah. Devastating. When you first hear the word cancer, you think your life's over. You think stage 3 and stage 4, stage 4 is the last, 3, they're getting up there, and you don't really know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You kind of go to their places, and then you just have to keep pushing forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to figure out, like, am I going to sit back and die, basically, or am I going to give this everything and fight it? And you really are faced with that. Yeah. You think that if you've never been sick, you think, oh yeah, of course I'd fight it. But there are days where you're like, I don't want to get out of bed. Like, if I didn't wake up. But every day you have to get up and just decide, today I'm going to fight, and today I'm going to beat it. And you have to do that every day. You have to remind yourself every day.
Do that now.
Yeah, I was going to say, every day has to be that choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was there a moment in all of this where you kind of, did you say that from the beginning, like, hey, I'm going to fight this till the end? Or did you go through that, like, never mind, I can't do this? Because it's so tough.
In the beginning, I did, because my cancer's, it's uncommon. Where I was at in my diagnosis, there was no chemo or radiation. So I was pretty much, went for 3 surgeries, and that's what I got. And so I had to do the holistic route. And there was days where I didn't think I was going to make it. It got dark for me. But then it took me after about my 3rd surgery when I really was like, okay, I gotta start being positive. I gotta really, focus on getting better. And so And it helped actually after we, through the first few months of our cancer, we were both too sick. But once around October or whatever, we got closer to each other.
Mm-hmm. We started hanging out, and that really helped because we really do understand each other's story and
how we feel.
Yeah, can really sympathize, not just empathize with each other. So helped for sure. And we lost another girl who was close with us to cancer, and at the same time, and that really pushed her and I to be closer and to support each other more, but also to just keep pushing.
Yeah. What do you do daily to keep pushing? Is there like something you say to yourself every day? And I also want to talk about like the importance of like your community around you, the people, in your support system and what that has been like.
Very different for both of us. I have a really awesome support system. My friends and family have completely been behind my back the whole time. In the beginning when I was deciding I wanted to do more holistic route than a traditional route, there was a little bit of pushback, but ultimately my friends really stood behind me and supported everything that I did. Ashley's not as much.
I had about 50-50. I had the people that stayed there for me and that were there for me were amazing, and they're still here for me. But I had some awful, awful women. I don't know if you could say they were jealous of the attention I was getting, even though I was sick. But yeah, they were pretty mean. They were monsters. But you know what? I had to make the decision to cut them out completely because it wasn't it wasn't serving me. It was bringing more negative energy to my life, and I didn't need that. Daily affirmations, telling ourselves we can do this. We're strong. That's what I do. I like to tell myself I can do anything I put my mind to.
Yeah.
I tell my kid that.
Yeah, we're both moms. So, being a parent, sometimes you don't even have time to be sick.
Yeah.
Like you don't have time to sit back and feel sorry for yourself. That's for sure. My girls I have a teenager and a preteen. There's no time with all their drama.
And mine's 4. He's just got so much energy. Yeah.
How do you introduce this to your kids? I mean, there's the age ranges, so obviously the conversation is different, but what was that like?
Mine didn't really know in the beginning. He just knew Mama had to go to the hospital because the doctors were going to save Mommy. But now I've noticed he'll say things like, Mommy, please don't die. And because when we go to the city, he knows where my hospital is because I spent a lot of time in the one hospital because of my 3 surgeries. But, it's hard to work with, work with him because he's so young. But I think just keep telling him, I'm going to be okay. We're going to make it through this, and just keep him happy,
Yeah.
It's sad because you don't want to put your kids through this, even though it wasn't our fault,
Yeah, you don't want anybody to suffer.
Right?
But that also starts with yourself, and then you're like, oh, there's probably guilt around that.
A lot.
Yeah. Do you check in with each other every day? Like, what's your relationship like now that,
throughout the day?
We have so many different ideas about stuff that we want to do and want to talk about and want to promote and things like that. So definitely the last few months, every single day, it's like, oh my gosh, I have to tell you this. Blah, blah, blah.
We see each other probably like
now,
5 times a week or more.
We only live a mile apart, so it's nice and close.
Yeah. And when did the idea to start the podcast come about? Because we were talking before this, and they had never listened to podcasts. They didn't even know what
I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, we had discussed it, or I think I had brought it up early on into us being sick, more facetious, like, we should have a podcast.
Yeah.
Like,
we threw the idea back and forth.
And then when, a treatment started to slow down and we were both feeling really good, I'm like, we should actually start a podcast. Like, we're both not back to work yet. We both have, time on our hands, and
we want to help people.
Well,
share our stories.
We have a lot to say.
So tell everybody what the podcast is. Like, are you talking to other people? Like, what's the conversations about on your podcast?
Well, we haven't got there yet, but we are sometimes TMI. We talk about what we've gone through, our surgeries, everything from then and now, our supplements.
Yeah.
We try and
what treatment looked like, you know, the holistic
difference,
side of things and the conventional side of things, because I did both.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely a lot of TMI moments
Mhm.
and gosh,
because it isn't rainbows when you go
Yeah.
through this.
no,
The whole thing is TMI, right? For you,
Yeah.
for you included.
cancer
Yeah.
is very humbling.
Yeah.
Like I had breast cancer, so you know, now they'll be like, oh, we'll give you some privacy so you can get changed. I'm like, literally, I have one boob and everyone has seen it, so don't even worry about it. It's like when you have kids, hey,
Yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
they're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, I'll give you no,
No,
you literally just saw what
You know how many
happened.
doctors I've had in there?
It's all out the door. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Where can people find the podcast? I know it's on YouTube and
Yeah, YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, and then we have social media as well. It's just at Two Girls with Cancer, and yeah, that's the name of our show, Two Girls with Cancer. And we know that the irony of people who don't have cancer anymore currently, saying
we don't have active cancer right now, but the thing is, cancer in mine always comes back. Hers, she has a chance, so it's like they're like, well, you don't have cancer. It's like, yeah, but that's our journey.
Yeah.
We had cancer, and we still, our future, like our whole, everything's changed in our lives, you know?
Yeah. What are you hearing from listeners or viewers now that the podcast is out there? And I'm there's so like there isn't anybody who doesn't know somebody who's probably going through something similar if it's not themselves. I just flew to Wisconsin to see my grandma. She turned 92. She's in the last couple of years had colon cancer, breast cancer, and now skin cancer. And my dad's, you know, like everybody, like it feels like everybody I know. That's why I really wanted to talk to the two of you. But I can't imagine what you're hearing from people about that connection part, because that's really all, you know, you feel it's so isolating. Cancer, I feel like, is so isolating. And so are you hearing from people?
Yeah, absolutely. And that was a big part of why we wanted to do a podcast, because it was so isolating. We were very lucky to have each other at the same time, you know, same age, a lot of the same friends. So it was such like an instant sense of community. But in the beginning, I didn't feel like that because, you know, your friends can empathize to a certain degree, but no one really,
they don't understand.
Yeah, quite understands like exactly what you're going through.
Because the feelings of having it inside you, or what's going to happen, the scare, you know, being scared.
So now that we have a podcast, and even, you know, as we started like a social media account, people saying things like, oh, wow, you know, you're an inspiration. And her and I are like, huh?
You guys like us?
You should come see my house, my mess, my pile of laundry, my debt. Like, you should see all these things if you think I'm inspiring. But I think people like to, you know,
we're real is what it is.
And human nature is to learn about the things that are sort of more taboo to talk about. You know, people don't want to talk about cancer, and certainly if you know someone who has it, it's walking on eggshells around them, because you don't know what's going to offend them.
If you don't know what's going to set them off too.
Yeah, and we're trying to take the stigma out of that, because, you know, we did lose a lot of you know, acquaintances and friends and those relationships when we got sick, because I think people just didn't know what to say to us.
Yeah, people get scared.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm like, you know, the people that have eventually reached out, I'm like, you know, I'm just the same person. I'm a little sicker, one less boob. So
one less boob. Yeah. Wow. What's you said you had a lot of plans and a lot of things you want to promote. Like, what is on the horizon for both of you? What are you working on?
Well, first off, we're working on an actual studio space. So we have moved from my husband's office up into our spare room. That is getting completely overhauled into a studio, which is really great. You know, we were talking off film here that we're very new to, you know, especially like the tech side. So we would like to get to a place like what you have right now, where we can actually have guests come on and interview them. You know, we're obviously working through some kinks, because this is a learning process for both of us right now. And we've worked on a few different partnerships with brands that we actually like. And I feel sometimes like, oh, what a sellout thing to do. But the thing is, like, through this journey, we both have had to rely heavily on things like juicing and our supplements and just taking different items that, maybe we weren't using before. And so, we would like other people to know about
share.
it. So,
and I mean, who doesn't love a discount code?
I mean, yes, I say that every time someone goes, "Oh, I really like anything that people see." I'm like, "Yes, it's 20% off with the code Richard." And I'm like, "Yes, everyone loves free stuff, right?"
Exactly.
A little bit cheaper, why not?
And we decided it was going to be stuff that we really supported and actually used.
That we would put into our bodies.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people online are repping products that they've never tried, nor do they care about, nor would they ever take. So, for us, it's really important that it's stuff that we know and love.
Yeah. We need to get you into CancerCon. That's where you need to go. It's like like Comic-Con. It's a whole like CancerCon.
Really?
Oh,
yeah.
Is it a real thing?
Yeah. No. Why would I make that up? That would be the craziest thing.
Like a fun little thing we were starting.
No. It's already started. We just need to get you there and be part of it.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I'll look it up. We'll be in touch because I think that would be a really great place for you to go.
I'm gonna look it up while we're talking here. This is fun.
Your live podcast from CancerCon. Come on.
That's cool.
Yeah. What do you want people to take away from your story and your podcast and your ability to and your willingness to share with everybody what you're going through?
We say this saying all the time. Cancer is just a word, not a sentence. Cancer is scary. When you hear that, you think you're going to die. You just have to remember that there is hope out there. Like, I was stage 4, she was stage 3, and we're still here, and you have to stay positive and you have to keep pushing, and then that's another reason why we did the podcast, so that we can help others. We can inspire others that, don't give up. We're here for you. You want to private message me and talk for hours? I'll talk to you, because you're not alone, There's always somebody that will be there for you. You just have to make sure you find them.
We also wanted to bring light to the fact that there are other alternatives to cancer care beyond chemo and radiation. And, I was the first person to say that I hated chemo radiation. I was never going to do it. If I ever got sick, never. And I ended up doing it. But I also did a lot of other stuff as well. So I wanted to bring light, or we both wanted to bring light to the fact that there are alternatives. You don't have to just do what your doctor says. You can do something else in conjunction with it. You can do something else entirely different. So just to bring awareness to that side of things.
And not all cancers are the same. So, it's going to affect every single person differently.
That is so true.
Yeah. And even treatments are all like, I think that's what's kind of like crazy about all of it is you really do have to advocate for yourself and do your own research and do what your body and your heart and your mind feels right for you, because it's can be an awful journey if you make it an awful journey. Yeah. They have a great podcast, Two Girls with Cancer. Ashley and Becky, you two are amazing. I am so happy you're here today.
Thank you.
We appreciate you.
Are so happy we are here.
Find them on YouTube and find them on social media. We'll have all the links in the notes and in the comments. And we'll be right back after this. Thank you, ladies.
Bye. Thank you.
It's premiere week on Make Your Day Richer with Richard Wilmore, featuring Ashley and Becky, the hosts of the podcast Two Girls with Cancer. Self-esteem regime author Clarissa Burt, grief blogger Jason Tuttle, the LinkedIn cheerleader Aquacant, weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern starting June 10th. Okay, good. I pressed all the right buttons. I get nervous when there's a video playing that I didn't do the right things and people are still going to be here. I want to thank all of our Buy Me a Coffee sponsors who have supported the show already since even before we began. And you can do that at buymeacoffee.com/makeyourdayricher. And tomorrow we have author Clarissa Burt. So it's going to be a good show live again tomorrow, everyone. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I love you. Bye.